Are you building applications in the Azure cloud? If your data is not segmented properly, you are putting your data at risk. Let us change that. Hi, this is Murli Dhulam, founder of ITS Code Private Limited, architect as well as trainer in the area of devsecops, Azure Cloud, AWS Cloud, and Kubernetes. Today, let us try to discuss about how to set up Azure Cloud data architecture which is scalable as well as secure environment.
Let us create our own network. So if you are trying to connect with some data center or multiple networks, here you can see that. And also you can see how to provide network security, load balancing, as well as CDN, content delivery network. So whenever you're trying to create any resource in the Azure, so we need hierarchy like subscription. And within the subscription, you can create some logical boundary called resource tree. Here we need multiple environments, right? Production, we need powerful resources, and dev and QA, you can use smaller resources as well. We need to onboard 60,000 devices. So here we need web layer. Similar way, I need app layer, and one more layer, we need DB layer. But within that, different layers are there. Web servers, app servers, DB servers. Now we are going to set up this network application architecture, three-tier architecture. We are going to set up. Here, let me create this scenario and just see each layer, you need to assign some specific IP addresses. Previously, web subnet. Similar way, app subnet and DB subnet. So now let us try to create this structure. So here you can see, whenever you're trying to onboard your resources, Azure, they will follow this structure. Enterprise account, Myntra. So within the Myntra, just say these are all different departments, right? So here, delivery manager is there. Right? Access management. Delivery manager controlling entire departments. So men, women, kids, right? These are all departments. Right? So he's having full control about all the areas. He needs some enterprise account. So within the enterprise account, he's trying to create multiple accounts. So multiple accounts like, so let me show you this. Multiple accounts. So here you can see men, women, right? And kids, and so on. These are all different accounts. One department will be there. Right? So just see here, for each department, each account, there is a program manager. He is the responsible person for this particular account. Men account, women account, kids account. Right? These are all different departments. Just now we observed, right? Multiple subscription like dev, QA, prod. Currently we are focusing only one area. For each subscription, there is a tech lead. He is the responsible person to manage individual subscriptions. Again, under dev, group 1, group 2, group 3. Each group, there is a team lead. Under groups, you can place actual resources. So here you can place under groups. Now here, general engineers or developers, whoever is there, some engineer, let us say. If the person is joining as a delivery manager, so he can control entire scenarios. But let us imagine if 3 lakhs objects are there, it's very difficult to control entire objects. That's why we will try to use this type of strategy. Here you can see. Currently, we are using dev subscription. We are discussing about Myntra. Within the dev subscription, we are creating one resource group also. So within this resource group, we are trying to onboard our network. Right? So here we are onboarding network. Also, each layer, we are saying some responsible persons also, like we are assigning some responsible person. Only those persons can handle these resources. Right? So first, we are trying to create our network resources. So in addition to that, so we are also discussing accessing part. Each section, we need to discuss that. Whatever layers, whether it is storage, networking, load balancing, all the areas, we need this access management. Okay. Now, let us try to create this structure. Currently, we don't have enterprise account. So we have our own account. Currently, we have only one account within our subscription, and also one single subscription is there. Let us go back to your account. This is a subscription you can see. Currently, we have only one subscription. This is our personal subscription. Also, if you are trying to observe our entire organization hierarchy, also here you can see that. Right? So there is an option called Azure Active Directory or Entry ID. Within that, 7 users are there, 7 groups are there, 360 plus applications are there. Right? This is the entire scenario. So how to control this entire environment, right? Okay. So now just here, this is the subscription. You can imagine as a one subscription, pay as you go, right? Within that, let us try to create our resource group also. Let us try to create one resource group. So let us create it. Resource group. So resource group is a logical boundary. These are all previous resource groups. Now let us try to create resource group. So here you can see this is the subscription. Our subscription name is pay as you go. So here you can see that. Instead of dev, let us try to write down pay as you go here. This is the subscription you can see. So let us try to place our resource group also. So let me place Myntra resource group, Myntra USRG. This is the resource group here I'm trying to create. So you can place it here. Let me place, instead of group 1, let us call it as Myntra RG. Okay. This is the resource group here I'm creating. Okay. So this is a subscription. Within that, Myntra RG, let us create it. Okay. So while selecting this resource group, first we need to decide which region you're going to use, right? So we need to decide which region you're going to use. So previous classes we observed how to select region based on the location. We need to select always nearest location, and also we need to observe our region capabilities as well. What type of features they're offering. Based on that, you can select it. Right. As of now, here I'm trying to select East ES. Right. You can select as per your requirement. So many regions are there. So here you can select it. Okay. East ES currently I'm selecting now. Next, let us mention some inventory related tags. Myntra RG resource group and create it. So just go to this option here. Here you can find your resource group. Myntra US RG. This is the resource group. So just here. If you are trying to find out subscription name, this is the one. Pay as you go. Right. Now here you can onboard multiple resources. Right. So here you can onboard multiple resources. This time I'm trying to onboard my network. Also you can observe resource visualizer as well. Right. The GUI way you can observe your resources. Whatever resources you are onboarding, you can observe that. Let me onboard our resources. Right. So let me create it. So till now here we completed subscription is paid as you go. This is the subscription name and resource group Myntra US RG. Okay. Myntra US RG. This is the resource group, right? Now here I'm trying to create my network also. Whatever network you need, you can call it. You can call that name as well, right? So here you can go back to your networks or go to services, all services. So here you can see networking service, and within that you can see network foundation. As of now, first let us try to use virtual network. So if you are using traditional environment, our network team will be there. They will try to manage all these things. But here, these are all things will be managed by our cloud vendor backend. But you need to mention your inputs, right? How many devices you are going to place. So what type of security, these are all things here you need to mention. So here we are calling it as virtual network. Right. So just here, create a virtual network to secure connect your Azure resources to each other. Similar way, if you are trying to connect from outside also, right? How to enable all these capabilities? Let us see that. Right. Create virtual network. Now you can select. This is a subscription. Also, you can select your resource group. What is the resource group name? This is the one. Myntra US RG. Right. So this is the resource group name. So here you can select resource group US RG. Also now here you can select Myntra Dev Network. Let me call this network name as Myntra Dev Network. So that it will be easy if you are trying to identify this network. Now let us create it. So while creating your network, we need to think about security also. So here we can encrypt our traffic. Virtual network encryption. So for that, they are saying that some prerequisites. Virtual machines must have accelerated networking enabled. So with the help of this option, we can encrypt our traffic. So one more important option called Bastion host. So let's see, in previous class also we discussed. So initially we discussed like here our end users, they are trying to access our application. So here they will try to reach our web layer, and there you can send the traffic to other layers, app layer, DB layer. In this way you can see that app layer, DB layer. In this way you can see that. Similar ways, support teams are there. Some support teams are there. These are all support teams. They are trying to access your environment. So here we need to streamline this process. So here you can see that. Only DB team, they need to access DB servers. These type of scenarios, you can enable it. So here we need some centralized server. For that, you can set up one centralized server. So here you can set up, you can call jump server or Bastion host. So whoever teams are there, first they will try to connect this jump server. From this jump server, they will send requests to other areas. This one you can see jump server. Why we need jump server? Let us say if you are working with some client environment, they won't allow you to access entire environment. Previously also we discussed this is a TCS environment. Within the TCS, so many projects are there. And here so many projects are there. Myntra is our client. This is a Myntra environment. Now TCS is trying to support this environment, cloud environment. They will try to set up some Bastion host or jump server, and whoever teams are there from TCS, they will connect this environment. In this way, you can set up this environment so that only authorized person they can enable, right? They can start connecting the servers. You can use your own server. You can set up as a jump server or Bastion host, or you can create cloud-based jump server as well. So what is the difference here? Suppose if you are creating your own jump server, you need to manage that server. But if you use Bastion host, no need to manage all the servers. Those things will be taken care by cloud vendor. But here some disadvantages also there. So we'll try to analyze that. So if you need more flexibility, just go for your own jump server. Or if you don't want to manage jump servers, just go for Bastion host. So Bastion host is managed by our cloud vendor. It's a jump server. It's one type of jump server. So it will be managed by our cloud vendor. Similar way, you can enable firewall as well, Azure firewall. So whatever resources under your Azure network, right? So within the Azure network, if you are trying to protect this like components, you can enable Azure firewall. So you see, this is a separate topic. We'll discuss that, how to enable this Azure firewall. It is similar to your firewall. You see here, Windows firewall, just see here. We'll try to allow some specific traffic, or you can deny some traffic. You see, allow or deny specific traffic, you can allow or deny. Similar way here also you can see that. But here this firewall will be managed by cloud vendor. Just you need to mention your inputs. They're offering different types, right? So based on the types, features will be changed. So these are all policies, part of our Azure policies. There is a separate section called policies section, Azure policies. So here you can see the policies. They are part of our policies, Azure policies. Right? So here you can create it. So policy is nothing but they will define some specific metrics or standards they will try to set up. So whoever is trying to access this environment, they should follow that metric. If they are not following those metrics, it won't allow you to access your applications. Later we'll see how to create this firewall. So as of now, just try to create without firewall. And then DDoS network protection as well. So if any attacks, so how to find out those attacks, security or malware, right? Phishing attacks, how to find out that. So here, if you are using your own data center, we need to have separate DDoS servers, DDoS. So instead of that, we can use our cloud vendor help. So you can utilize these services also. Security part, just ignore it. We'll see that separate security part. And next, now how many devices you are going to onboard here within this network. So here I need to onboard 60,000 plus devices. So for that, just see here. These are network IP address range. Just see here. Previously we discussed, right? Different classes we discussed. First we need to observe within the Myntra, how many devices are there. So previous classes we observed A class, B class, C class, D class we observed. If it is a class, you can onboard more number of resources, right? B class little bit low, right? These are all classes we discussed, right? Based on that, you can select some IP address range based on the class. As of now, here I'm trying to select some 10 dot. Let's see. If you mention 16, yesterday someone asked this question, right? So here you can accommodate 65,000 plus devices. So in this way, based on your requirement, you can start using that 1,000. So within this network, how many devices you are going to place? First thing you need to select which class you are going to use, whether it is A class, B class, C class, right? So based on your devices count, you can select this as well as current requirement as well as future requirement. Based on that, you can select your class, IP address class, and after that, you can see, you can select this number also. Okay. So here you can see that. First here I'm trying to select total. I need total 60,000 plus. So within this network, I need to onboard some layers called subnets, different subnets, web subnet, app subnet, different subnets. For each subnet, I need to onboard some IP address as well. Okay. So here I selected one IP address range, 10.10.0.0. Okay. We selected 65,000 devices. Now just see here. Okay. It we selected firewall here. Let me go back here. It seems somewhere we selected firewall. Seems we didn't select it, right? Okay. So here it is saying Azure firewall subnet as well. Suppose if you are trying to utilize your Azure firewall, you can use separate subnet. Just see here. These are all subnets. You can onboard your workload resources, whatever applications are there. So you can use these subnets. But if you are trying to onboard management resources, you can use firewall subnet. Separate subnet is there. Let me show you some structure here. So Azure hub and spoke. Also one type of structure. So just ignore this one. You see, this is the one type of one organization. Just see here, and here you can see this is a hub network, and these are all workload resources networks, production network, right? Some other production, non-production, right? Different networks are there. These are all networks. So we can host some resources, we can host some applications, but whoever is trying to access these applications, they should not access directly. For that, we can create separate virtual network. Within this network, you can onboard these management tools like Bastion host. Just now we discussed it, right? Jump server, you can place it here. Similar way, firewall you can place. Right? Gateway is there. We'll see that whenever you're trying to connect your data center or some other areas. Right? So it means while creating your virtual network, so what is the use case you are going to use? Whether you are going to onboard your application workloads or if you are trying to onboard your management resources. Right? First, we need to decide that. Also, we need to follow this architectures. Also, we'll see that, right? Architecture strategy as well. So whenever you're trying to place your network, first we need to observe hub and spoke. This one you can call hub, and these are all spokes you can see. So whoever users are there, first they will send traffic to here or send request to here. From this hub, we can redirect the traffic based on the IP address. In this way, you can see that. Any questions, please? As of now, we are trying to create a workload resources network. Right? That's why just ignore it. Here we are seeing some option, right? Azure firewall subnet, just remove it. So whenever you're creating management layer, management virtual network, then you can use it. Now, let us try to change this subnet also. So here I need 3 subnets. One is web subnet, app subnet, and DB subnet. 3 subnets we need. Let us try to create it. So here you can create. Let me change it. So also here, just see, while creating subnets, you can also mention use case. So just see, these are all different use cases you can see. Just now here we discussed network, and after that we are focusing subnets also. Within the network, we need to onboard subnets as well. So here we need to onboard some subnets also. While onboarding subnets, so you need to mention what is the use case, whether it is default subnet, it means we can onboard some resources, or if you are trying to place Azure Bastion host or jump server, right, or firewall management, right, virtual network gateway, route server. What is the IP address range of this subnet? What is the IP address range here? 10.0.0/16. This is the IP address range. So total 60,000 plus devices, right? So within that, I need to onboard my resources. This is the total IP address range. Here you can accommodate 65,000. This is the IP address range. You can use it. So this is the IP address range I can accommodate. So this is the IP address range /24. So here we can accommodate around 2,000 plus devices or IP address. We'll see other scenarios. So currently, just observe this. We are trying to create only IPv4, not IPv6. Private subnet. This concept derived from AWS. If you observe AWS scenarios, they will create separate private subnet. Recently, they launched private subnet in the Azure as well. Also security, endpoints, right? So we'll see that later. As of now, just try to create these options. So first, here I'm trying to create one network and one subnet. You can see entire structure, subscription, resource group, network, within the network subnet. So here you can change this name as well. Let us change it to web subnet. This is the name here I'm using. Web subnet, here I'm trying to use. Save, you see, this is the network. Within the network, here I'm trying to onboard web subnet. Next, so we can mention some inventory name, Mintra network. So here we created very simple network. So just now here we onboarded very simple network. This is the network you can see. Our simple network. Right? So you can see this. Net resource visualization. Currently we have only one network, Mintra Dev network. So here you can also see this is a network name, resource group name, location, and subscription name, and this is the IP address range. And also Azure provided DNS service. Right? This is a virtual network ID. We'll see this traffic related settings also, BGP and other scenarios also there. We'll see that. Okay. Also, you can see other capabilities like here we need to observe each and every option here. So first we need to understand our virtual network settings. So just see here, there is an option called address space. It refers how many devices you can onboard. So here you can see that. Also how many IP addresses you can use. You can see this 10.10.002, 10.10.255, 255. These many IP addresses, you can utilize that. And within this network, if you already onboarded some resources, right, here you can see there is an option called connected devices. So let us say here we onboarded some servers. all the servers here you can observe under connected devices. Next, currently we have only one subnet here. Right? So further, just go back to subnets. This is a subnet. You can see this web subnet. Also, let us try to observe other options. Then we'll see. Let us try to add some resources as well, application servers also. Then we'll try to onboard some application in the servers as well. So let us try to implement one by one. Till now, if you have any questions, let us discuss. Today, here we observed basic network, Azure network service. So within that Azure virtual network, here we onboarded subnet as well. So till now, here we observed